Thanks for joining us from the Ohio AgNet Voice You Know with the News You Trust studio, sponsored by Grain Equipment Company, where innovation meets execution. I'm Dale Menyo. Bill Patterson, president of the Ohio Farm Bureau, said during his time as lieutenant governor, Mr. Husted championed many priority issues for Ohio Farm Bureau and our members while creating initiatives to help agriculture remain economically viable and environmentally focused. We congratulate Mr. Husted on being appointed to represent Ohio in the U.S. Senate and look forward to continuing to work with him on passing an updated farm bill and creating tax policies that will give farm families in Ohio and across the country the certainty they need to be successful. Last week, 427 national and state agricultural groups and agribusinesses sent a letter to leaders of the U.S. Senate Ag Committee supporting Brooke Rollins' nomination as Agricultural Secretary and calling on the committee and the entire Senate to promptly confirm her for the cabinet post. The Senate Agriculture Committee has set Rollins' confirmation hearing for January 23rd. A native of Glen Rose, Texas, Rollins is the founder and CEO of America First Policy Institute and America First Works, a pair of organizations that have championed Trump's agenda. Rollins, 52, also was a member of President-elect Donald Trump's Economic Advisory Council in 2016. Rollins was director of the Domestic Policy Council, director of the Office of American Innovation, and assistant to the president for strategic initiatives under Trump. America First Policy Institute became a fixture in Trump's inner circle. Politico wrote a profile of Rollins last October, highlighting how Rollins rose from a little-known aide in the Trump White House to the driving force behind the Trump transition effort. In the process, Rollins and her group, AFPI, became a major force for drawing both policy and nominees for Trump's second term. Rollins had been considered a potential chief of staff. President Trump thinks very highly of Brooke, a senior Trump advisor told Politico, speaking on the condition of anonymity. He has said she couldn't run any company in the country. Her close working relationship with incoming President Trump will ensure that agriculture and rural America have a prominent and influential voice at the table when critical decisions are made in the White House. Pointing out the many difficulties facing America's farmers and rural America, the farm groups stated Rollins is needed now at USDA to advocate for a new farm bill, stabilize an agriculture economy in decline, and support the full food and agriculture and forest value change. Today's weather brought to you by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance online at seedconsultants.com. Here's the cold forecast.
Cold air dominating through Ohio here today. I'm Chief Meteorologist Ryan Martin. Let's take a look at that forecast update. The cold air is not just dominating today. It's going to do the same thing tomorrow and Wednesday. I think today and tomorrow are the coldest days. The Arctic high bottoming out well below zero, back over portions of southern Minnesota and northern Iowa overnight tonight into tomorrow. We're still going to be seeing that core try and come across us probably tomorrow midday and afternoon. Lake effect is going to be something we talk about through the balance of the day here, but I don't think that we see strong lake effect over most of Ohio. I think a large part of it's going to be limited to extreme northeastern parts of the state. Why? Winds are shifting a little bit more westerly through the day today, so that keeps most lake effect out of the rest of the state. On again, off again clouds, sure, but the cold air is definitely something that we deal with. Temperatures not quite as cold, but still pretty frigid on Wednesday, and we see more moderation for Thursday into late week. Watching a clipper system that brings some moisture to the Great Lakes region late in the week, Friday into Saturday. That's going to drag some clouds down our way, but probably nothing organized in terms of precipitation. Early next week, a slightly better chance at light snow Monday night into Tuesday, and that's ahead of another reinforcing shot of Arctic air. I do see significant warming taking place over the western third of the country for next week, especially mid to late week. That probably sets us up for a slightly warmer start to February, and we may kick it off with some moisture from going from the 31st into the 1st and 2nd. That's a look at your forecast update. I'm meteorologist Ryan Martin.
And thanks, Ryan. The American Soybean Association applauds the nominations of Richard Fordyce to serve as the Undersecretary for Farm Production and Conservation, Dudley Hoskins to serve as the USDA Undersecretary for Marketing and Regulatory Programs, and Luke Lindberg to serve as the Undersecretary for Trade and Foreign Agricultural Affairs. Steve Censky, ASA Chief Executive Officer, said in a statement, as a fourth-generation farmer himself, Richard understands the importance of farm, risk management, and conservation programs to farmers. He has been a leader not only within the soybean industry, but also for the state of Missouri and then all of the United States during his time as administrator of USDA's Farm Service Agency. I know from working with him in all of these roles that he will do a credible job for American agriculture, and I'm thrilled by his nomination. Likewise, I'm so pleased with the nomination of Dudley Hoskins. Dudley has been a long-standing friend of U.S. soybean farmers, having the opportunity to work closely with him during time as Deputy Secretary at USDA. He has a deep background in agriculture policy and understands how the work of the MRP mission area impacts U.S. farmers and ranchers. I also want to congratulate and welcome Luke Lindberg to the USDA family. From his work leading South Dakota's trade expansion efforts, Luke understands the importance of trade to farmers, ranchers, and rural America. ASA looks forward to continuing our work with the TFAA mission area and trade issues, including the continued development of new markets and the expansion of existing markets here for U.S. soy. And one more note before we get to the markets. House Committee on Agriculture Chairman Glenn G.T. Thompson and Senate Committee on Agriculture, Nutrition, Forest Ranking Member John Bozeman issued a statement on USDA studies that found no correlation between poultry and swine processing line speeds and worker safety. The Biden-Harris administration needlessly created years of uncertainty throughout the duration of these studies, which deviated far beyond the original mission. These studies confirm what we have known all along. U.S. meat and poultry companies have the highest worker safety standards in the world. We look forward to working with the incoming Trump administration to develop a long-term solution to ensure meat and poultry companies have the ability to operate at higher line speeds while maintaining rigorous food safety and worker safety standards. Stay tuned. I'll be back with more after this.
Morton Buildings is holding their annual Building Value Day sales event running now through the end of February. Morton Buildings are built stronger, last longer, and look better. So if you're planning for a garage, farm shop, stall barn, a storage building for your RV, boat, or collectibles, or anything in between, act now and contact one of their 4 Ohio offices by visiting mortonbuildings.com or call 800-447-7436 to take advantage of their current savings on select new buildings. Certain restrictions may apply. This offer is available on select building styles. Contact your local construction center for more details.
Hey, pork producers, it's almost time for the 2025 Ohio Pork Congress, your connection to all things pork. It's back in Lima, Ohio on February 4th and 5th. With the latest on swine health, facility management, economics, and product innovation, all within the largest pork industry trade show in the region. So make plans now to join us at Veterans Memorial Convention Center by going to ohioporkcongress.org for more information and early registration discounts on tickets. We'll see you in Lima.
In 2024, USDA awarded nearly $1 million in grant funding to 4 Ohio rural small businesses and agricultural producers through the Value Added Producer Grant Program, which is designed to help generate new products, create and expand market opportunities, and increase overall producer income to grow local economies in rural areas. Small businesses and agricultural producers drive local economies across Ohio, said Jonathan McCracken, State Director for USDA's Rural Development in Ohio. These awards underscore USDA's commitment to providing economic opportunities for entrepreneurs to grow their businesses while also supporting their families and strengthening their communities. Fiscal year 2024, USDA awarded 170 grants in 40 states and Puerto Rico, totaling nearly $33.1 million. Ohio's value-added producer grant recipients are Grass Powered Poultry, LLC in Hillsboro, Copia Farm, LLC in Johnstown, Buckeye Milk House, LLC in Rittman, and Chalet de Bonny Vineyard in Madison, Ohio. Congratulations to this year's recipients. Today's market analysis is brought to you by the Louis Dreyfus Company. Excited to be building the newest state-of-the-art soybean crush facility in Upper Sandusky, Ohio. For more information on soybean marketing to LDC, call 574-566-2113. Here's Ryan Martin.
Grain markets finished mostly higher last Friday, and I can guarantee you we're not going to be seeing any changes today. Reason why? It is Martin Luther King Day. Also, the other big thing happening today, it is the inauguration. So I'm anticipating, I guess I shouldn't say expect. I think there's going to be some fireworks. I'm not sure which way, but as we open up tonight, going into tomorrow, into a normal trade for the rest of the week. Going back into Friday, the market seemed to be a little bit interested in what was going on several different spheres. First of all, there was some headlines about incoming President Trump speaking with President Xi of China. And because of that, the market got excited. The other thing that happened over the weekend, remember the TikTok ban went into effect late Saturday. If you were watching the old social webs out there, you saw all the reaction to that. But what the error message said is they were happy to know that President Trump had promised to be talking with ways to get things restarted once his term started. So all of this is in this global trade sphere. Here's what's going on. We don't know. There are still promises of tariffs. How does that go? And honestly, Treasury nominee Bessent defended Trump policies in his testimony last Friday and said that he was going to be pressing China to resume ag purchases under the Phase 1 agreement. Remember that? That was all the way back at the end of the first Trump presidency. So there was a lot of, I think, anticipation and hopefulness in the trade on Friday, with corn finishing 8 to 10 higher nearby, beans up anywhere from 12 to 15, and the wheat markets worked their way a little bit higher as well. Only a few pennies, but it was positive nonetheless. Now as we move into outside markets, crude oil was down, the Dow was up on Friday. Those markets will definitely be trading as we get back into activity, but it's all about what comes out of headlines post-inauguration. I'm Ryan Martin.
And thanks, Ryan. I'll have Friday's closing figures going into the 3-day holiday weekend after this.
Watch your step, Ohio. Winter weather is here, so let's keep your team from slipping on the job. Make sure to examine your work areas daily and clear hazards that could result in a potential fall. Hoses, cords, buckets, farm tools, and equipment can all pose a problem. As the days get darker, you'll want to replace any poor lighting, too. Keep walkways and entrance areas clear, dress for the weather, and stay safe and warm. This safety tip brought to you by the Ohio Bureau of Workers' Compensation. Visit pwc.ohio.gov for more safety resources.
Here's farmer and businessman James Wood.
We farm about 3,500 acres. There's pipelines everywhere. The contractor working on my property did not have the lines located before he began work, and it resulted on a strike on a natural gas pipeline. Fortunately, no one was hurt, but it could have been much worse.
Never assume the location or depth of underground lines. Always call 811 or visit clickbeforeyoudig.com before you start work. A message from the Pipeline Operators for Ag Safety campaign.
Today's market's brought to you by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance online at seedconsultants.com. March corn closed up 9 3/4 at $4.84 1/4. May was up a dime at $4.93, and December new crop up 3 1/4 at $4.56. The March soybeans up 15 to $10.34. May closed up 13 1/4 at $10.44 3/4. November new crop up 7 at $10.27 3/4. The March wheat, if you still got it, up 1 1/4 at $5.38 3/4. July new crop a penny higher at $5.60 1/2. Carry that to September, and you're at $5.74 1/4 up 1. In livestock, February cattle $196.75 up 15 cents. April $197.50 down 17. June rebounds up 22 cents, closing at $192.20. The February lean hogs, $81.12, down $1.17. April, $88.32, down $2.22. And May, down an even $2.20 at $93.10. March feeder cattle, $268.05, up 32. Then April, down 7 cents at $268.12. And if you're wondering what animals and people like this cold weather, check out Joel's video from late last week with the family in Ohio raising yaks and how they really love this cold weather. More ag news, weather, markets, always on our website at ohioagnet.com. Thanks for joining us. I'm Dale Menyo. Go Bucks! This is the Ohio AgNet.